Swami Vivekananda has been inspiration for me since my childhood. As I became Jivanvrati of Vivekananda Kendra, I studied Swami Vivekananda more. And I found that there is no limit to the study. If I say I have studied Vivekananda, that would be a wrong statement. Because to study him, it will take our whole life. There is so much to learn, the way he sees the audience and addresses, the ways he diagnoses what is needed to be given to the audience, and his intense love for the humanity and for India. So, how he has worked at various levels, that also is a very fascinating study. But today I shall limit myself to only some few points about Swami Vivekananda. You know, from the life of Swami Vivekananda, one understands that when a person becomes really spiritual, he would understand India. And if he understands India, he becomes a very great admirer, worshipper of India. So, the equation is the highly spiritual person will always be highly patriotic in India. Because India is not just, the history of India is not just that such and such kings came, they ruled and they left. That cannot be the history. Rabindranath Tagore says in his one of the very remarkable article, History of Bharatvarsha, he says, in spite of these rules, in spite of the invasions after invasions, in spite of the barbarians who came to this country, in spite of whether the ruler was for the sake of these people or against the people, against its tradition, in spite of whosoever was the ruler, the life in India went on for certain higher, nobler aim in life. And what was that? It was to express one in many. This is what Swami Vivekananda has told us again and again, that this vision of oneness is the greatest contribution of India to the whole world. And it is referring to that Sri Rabindranath Tagore, he writes about this history of Bharatvarsha. So, more a person becomes spiritual, in real sense spiritual, not just in religiosity, but in real sense spiritual, then he understands India and he becomes the admirer of India. So that's what the first thing about Swami Vivekananda. And see, when he went to America, Europe, and the Western countries, when he visited, more than 3.5 years in his first visit, he was there. So, whenever any time he had to speak of India, the pride and intense love for India was there. He will not speak one word against the country outside India. This is the one point which all of us should note, because the Shraddha in India, the purpose of India, the efficacy of India, only we can communicate by our words, our thoughts, and our deeds when we are outside India. So, when he was there, he only spoke about all the glorious thought currents, traditions, contributions, achievements of India. Even if people ask him some, mischievous questions to point at the so-called drawbacks or to show India little down, Swami Vivekananda would give a very fantastic turn to it. And the way he would explain, whether it was about his talks on women of India, or whether it was his talk about the Indian history or the Upanishads or whatever. So this is one thing. Now, when we see his thoughts about India, I just want to mention his main six points on which we should focus, what Swami Vivekananda told. The first thing, Swami Vivekananda said, if India has survived in spite of invasions after invasions, in spite of all the atrocities, the vicissitudes, if India has survived, it is because she has not spoken her last word. It is because she has a mission, she has a message to deliver, a destiny to fulfill, a mission to accomplish. She has survived, it is because she has to fulfill her mission. So this is first thing. The second point, what he says, and what all of us in today's, I can say sometimes a very vitiated or confused atmosphere to remember is, Swami Vivekananda says, Dharma is the life center of India. And when he says that, he makes it clear that when I am using the word dharma, I don't mean dharma in the sense of religion, but it is a way of life, way of interaction based on the eternal principles of this existence. I am talking about that. So, what are those principles? Just to mention one or two, he says, each soul is potentially divine, and the goal of life is to manifest that divinity by controlling the nature external and internal. This itself can be a very big topic to contemplate and to communicate, to share with others. Each soul is potentially divine. We are not sinners, we are not born useless. Our life has a purpose, and that purpose is that we are born to manifest that divinity within us. It means whatever I do, I shall do it in an excellent way. The nobler aspects of my personality alone are nurtured and manifest, and my all efforts will be only for that. So, the purpose of life is to manifest that divinity. How? By controlling the nature external and internal. Unless there is self control in life, nothing can be achieved. Whether in individual's life, whether in social life, whether in our family life. So, that self control is needed. There has to be certain uh, constraints and restraints in our behavior, in the words that we use, the way we interact with the people. This is very important. And today we see that that restraint is gone. You ask any youth what time he gets up, there is no time. you know as per the college time he may get up. Today is Sunday, so in family also I have seen parents tell the children, today is Sunday, get up whenever you want. So even a simple thing as getting up in the morning, our time is not fixed. What I will do after I get up, our routine is not fixed. Only what the pressures are there, accordingly only our routine gets decided. So controlling the nature external and internal. So that's what this is the one principle, which this is the one message which India has to give to the world. Another is dharma. India has to give to the world. Dharma itself is a way of life based on eternal principles, way of interaction. Then second thing which he says is that this whole universe is interconnected, interrelated, interdependent, and therefore my behavior with others is should be with the feeling of oneness. And we can go more in that, but I want to tell you only about his thoughts about India, just very few. So this is one. Then the third thing, that this is the second thing, that is the life is dharma is the life center of India. And unless we practice that dharma, we hold on to dharma, India will progress. Later, by listening to Swami Vivekananda, getting inspired by him, getting guided by him when he was in Alipur jail, Sri Arvindo, he says that Sanatana Dharma is the nationality of India. Whenever Sanatana Dharma rises, India rises. So that's how he also explains that to us. Another thing, when we say India has to guide the world, that guidance is in spirituality. Now, spirituality is not something otherworldly practice. Spirituality is not even the religiosity or religious activities. Spirituality is that vision of oneness is permeated, is pervaded in all our actions, behavior, of individual as well as in all the systems of society of nation. So whether it is educational system, whether it is trade and commerce, whether it is village system, whether it is neighborhood, everything, whether it is family, of course, everything should be based on that oneness. So that is how we have to develop India, and only then we can give that message to the whole world. So that message is that spirituality is the basis of each and every action and each and every system in human life. Uh, then the fourth thing, very interesting, that when Swamiji came back to India, he did not spare us. Whatever was wrong, he was very forthright. He pointed it out. But because of his immense love for India, even though he pointed out the drawbacks in us, not a single community got hurt or got against it. Everyone listened to Swamiji. So that was another very important thing to learn from Swamiji, that we have got right to correct someone or to tell someone's drawbacks only then when we have immense love for them, and it is out of the love, out of concern that we communicate. So this is another thing. So with so many communities in India, Swamiji's this message, if we remember, really it would help us. Uh, One more Swamiji mm, told, and that is, this country has cherished diversity because we always knew what is the one that is underlying all the many, or the one which has manifested as many. So we were not afraid of diverse views, diversity, diverse way of worship, diverse way of dressing, the many languages, various gods. We were not afraid because we knew what connects us. Unfortunately, today the whole focus is only on what divides us. But what is it that connects us? And that connection is not, I will say, or Swamiji is telling, like, we are all Indians or we have one constitution, one flag. Of course, that is, we are very happy that we have that. But that is not what really connects us. That is the manifestation of what really connects us. And what is it that connects us? So that is what Swamiji explains in the lecture, Common Basis of Hinduism. Same thing what he told in Common Basis of Hinduism, Swamiji has spoken, or Swamiji has communicated in his lecture given at in Parliament of Religion at Chicago. And that lecture was titled as Paper on Hinduism. So points are same, but the way he has communicated it there and the way he communicates it here, anyone who really wants to learn the art of communication should study these two lectures, Paper on Hinduism and Common Basis of Hinduism. In both the things, what he is telling is something, if we see the minor points, the subtle points, they are same, but the communication is again totally different, seeing the audience. So what is it that connects us? Ask any youth, a person born, let us say, in Assam or Arunachal Pradesh, and a person born in Gujarat. What is common? Even the way of dressing is different. The language is different, the name of God is different, the festivals are different, and yet we are one. What is it that is one? What is it that connects? I am not going to tell you because I want you to read and study, contemplate on that lecture of Swami Vivekananda, common basis of Hinduism. What is it that connects us? If we focus on that, then we will be able to nurture, cherish our diversity. If that what connects us is not there, then mutual respect will not be there. That will be lost. And then no one can say that I will talk whatever I want, but you should respect me. It is not possible. And that is what connects us, Swami Vivekananda tells. And this is what we have to study. One more thing, what Swami Vivekananda tells that uh, he that the younger generation should come up, and younger generation should take up the task of leading our country to be able to guide the world. He said, "My faith is in the younger generation. The young generation, from them will come my heroes who will guide the whole world." And this is what we have to study Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda is very relevant. I will give you just one example. You know, we all know today it is a war of narratives. If you want to conquer any country, you don't have to go and invade. You don't have to even capture their markets. You just capture their minds. You just distort their thoughts and then they will do whatever you want. This is how different powers, they are playing this war of narratives in India. And at that time, we have to understand from Swami Vivekananda that how to change the narratives. He was a person who went to America and he changed the narrative about India single handedly in those days. Just imagine. So let us study him and let us make our country one and raise her so that she can guide the world in spirituality. For that, whatever we have to do, we have to sacrifice. We should be ready, as Swami Vivekananda had told, they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Another thing he had told, the earth's best and the bravest have to sacrifice for the good of many. Are we ready? This is the question that we have to ask ourselves. Thank you.